Alright my friends, so now we can learn how to modify the structure of our database by using commands of the data definition language DDL. So we can learn how to create a new table, update the content of a table, and as well how to drop a table. So let's go. Okay, so usually if you have like an empty database, what you want to do is to go and define the structure of your data. So one of the first things that we usually do is we go and create new tables. So here we have a command called create, and if you use it, you can create a new object inside the database, like for example a table. So once you execute it, you're gonna get a brand new table, and usually the table gonna be empty without any data. So it is very simple. This is what the create command does. And now let's go to SQL in order to create a new table. So my friends, we have the following task: create a new table called persons with columns ID, person name, birth date, and phone. Okay, so this time we will not start by select. We will start with the command create table. So we are telling SQL to create a table, and after that we have to define the name of the table. So in this task we have to call it persons. Now we have to go and open two parentheses like this, and in between we have to define the columns. So what do we need? First we need an ID. So this is the first column name, and next we have to define which data type for this column. It's gonna be an int, so it is a number, does not contain any characters. And now next we can define some constraints, and we cannot have a person without an ID, so it should not be a null, so not null. This is the first column. So we have defined the name of the column, the data type, and the constraint. Okay, so let's go to the second column, and here we're gonna have a comma, and the next one name gonna be person name. So this is the column name, and the person name we can have. And now the data type for this column, it's gonna be a varchar because the person name contains characters. So varchar. And now we have to define the length. So I'm gonna go with 50 characters. And now I would say this is a must. So each person should has a name. So we're gonna say not null as well. So with that we have the name, the type, and the constraint. Now let's move to the third column. It's gonna be birth date. Now which type of informations we have inside the birth date? So it's gonna be a date, not a number, not characters. So we're gonna go with the data type date. And now about the constraint, well, depends. I would say in our application it is an optional because this is very personal information, and maybe some persons will not provide their birth dates. So this is an optional, and I will not say it is not null. So nulls are allowed. Now let's move on to the next one. It's gonna be the phone. So now what is the data type of a phone? Well, we have sometimes numbers, we have characters, special characters, so we could have anything. So that's why I'm gonna go with the varchar, and here you can specify the length that you think it's okay. I'm gonna go with 15. Now of course depend on the system that you are building. I would say the phones are very important in order to validate whether this is a real person. So we're gonna say not null. So we are not allowing nulls in this field. Perfect. So with that we have covered all the columns that are required. We have defined the data types and as well the constraints. Now the last thing, in each database table we should have a primary key in order to make sure this table has an integrity and maybe as well connectable to other tables. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna go and add the primary key constraint, comma, for the last column, and then we're gonna say constraints. Now we have to give a primary key name. This is only gonna be visible for the database, so I'm gonna call it PK for primary key, and here persons. And then after that we're gonna say primary key, and between two parentheses we're gonna go and pick which one is the primary key, and of course it's gonna be the ID. So we can go over here and say ID. So again we are saying there is a new constraint. This is the name of it. It's only internal for the database. And then we are saying this one is a primary key on the field ID. So that's it. With that we have defined a primary key for our table. Let's go and execute it. So as you can see it is successful. Let's go and check our database for our new table. So if you don't see it already, you have to right click on the database and then go and refresh. So let's go to the tables, and now we have a brand new table called persons. So with that we have created our new table. Now of course for the DDL commands you will not get results or data. All what you are getting is a message from the database, and the message says here the command completed successfully, and then we have a date when this is completed. So that means the DDL commands will never return data. It is changing the structure of your database. It's not about retrieving any data and so on. So this command did change something in our database, and in this scenario it created a new table, and that's why we call this data definition language DDL, because we are defining the database. Now of course if you go and say select star from our new table persons. So let's go highlight it and then execute it. You will see we are getting, of course, the columns. So the ID, the person name, birth date, the phone, but we don't have any rows. That means our table is empty. Now, what is very important is that you go and save those informations in an SQL script, because maybe later you have to redefine this table. But let's say that you have created different queries and you have lost the script. And now I would like to see again the create statements for this table. Well, there is a trick for that. If you go to the left side, you see the persons right here, right click on it, and then you have here script table as, and now we have here different options that you can run on the table, and the first one says create to. Then let's go to new query editor. So now what happened, the database did read the metadata informations about the person and created your DDL query with many extra stuff that you haven't done. But this is the template that the database uses. So now we can see a lot of stuff, but what is interesting is this create table. So we can see create table, the schema DBU, the default one, then the persons, and then we have our columns, the data type, and as well the constraints. So with that, you got back your DDL statements and many other stuff about the table, which is now not interesting. But now what I really need is to see the create statements about this table. So this is how you can get back your DDL command. But of course, what I recommend you is always put your code inside a Git repository and always keep it up to date, so that always you can check your work and extend it. Okay, so now what else you can do with the structure of your database? If you have already a table, what you can do, you can go and edit and change the definition of the table. So for example, let's say I would like to add a new column. In order to do that, we can use the command alter. Alter means you want to edit the definition of your table and you want to change it, like adding a new column or maybe changing the data type and anything in the definition of the table. So with the alter command, you can use it in order to change the definition of your table. And now let's go back to SQL and try to change something. Alright, now the task says add a new column called email to the persons table. So it is very simple. What you can do, we can use the alter table command. So we are not creating a new table. We want to edit already existing table. So which table we want to modify? It's going to be the persons. So we are telling SQL we want to change something in the table persons. And of course, we have to tell SQL what we want to change. Are we removing a column? Are we adding column? In this scenario, we want to add a new column. So let's go and add the email information. So this is the column name, and as you are creating a table, you have to define column name, the data type, and the constraint. So now for the emails, we're going to have like characters, numbers, special characters. So we're going to go with the varchar. And about the length, it's going to be, let's say 50. And I'm going to say each person has to has an email. So it's going to be not null. So with that, we are adding completely a new column. So that's it. Let's go and execute it. Now again, this is not a query. This is a DDL command. And in the output, we will not get data. We will get a message whether everything went correctly. So it says command completed successfully at the time when this is completed. Now we can go and do simple query just to have a check to the table. So, and now you can see we have our columns, and at the end we have a new column called emails. This is very important. If you are adding a new column, it's going to be always at the end of the table. But now you might say, you know what, I would like to have the email like something in the middle, maybe after the person name. Well, in order to do that, you have completely to delete and drop the table and create it from the scratch using create command, which might be bad if you have data inside the table. So if you are fine by adding your new column at the end, you can use the alter table. But if you say I would like it in the middle, then sadly you have to go and drop everything and start from the scratch. Okay, so now let's have another task, and it says remove the column phone from the person's table. So now we're going to do exactly the opposite. We're going to go remove it completely with its data from the table. So we're going to still saying alter table persons. We are saying we want to edit the definition of the table persons. And now instead of adding, we will be dropping a column, and then after that we have to specify as well the column name. It's going to be the phone, but we don't have to mention again the data type and the constraint, and that's because the database already knows those informations. So we need those informations if we are creating something new. That's why we can get rid of that. We just need the column name, and the database is going to do the rest. So let's go and do that. Now you can see successful, and now let's go and check our table. And now as you can see, we have the ID, person name, birth date, email, and we don't have the column phone. Be careful, if you are deleting column, you will be losing as well all the data inside this column. So as you can see, this is very simple. This is how we can edit the definition of our table by adding and removing columns. Okay, now moving on to the last one in this group of commands. So far what we have done, we have created something new in the database. We have changed the definition of something inside our database. And now the last one, you can go and drop something from the database. Let's say we have another table and we don't need it anymore. So we can go and use the drop command in order to remove the table completely from the database. And this means as well removing everything, the table and the data inside it. So now let's go to SQL and let's drop something from our database. Okay, so now our task says delete the table persons from the database. This is the simplest form of command in SQL, but yet the most risky one. So what we have to delete and drop the whole table persons. We don't need it anymore. We're gonna say drop table, and then all what we have to do is to give the name of the table, persons. So 3 words. We don't have to specify anything, just destroy the table persons. Let's go and execute it. It is successful. So as you can see, it's very simple. Now on the left side to your database, go refresh and go to the tables, and you will not see the table persons. So the drop command, it is very simple, but yet very risky. So if you compare now create table with a drop table, you can see destroying things is way easier than building it. Those are the commands create, alter, drop. Those commands we use in order to define the structure of our database, the DDL commands. That was very simple. Alright, so that's all about the data definition language DDL, and with that you have learned how to define new stuff in your database. Now moving on to the next one, we're gonna learn about the data manipulation language, and here we can learn how to manipulate our data inside the database. Let's go.